Welcome to Lunch with the Coach. I'm Bobby Burton, joined by coaches Brian Erwin and Bob Shipley. Each and every week, we take a look and talk about the previous week's game and the upcoming game. We don't know the upcoming game or what will happen with the Longhorns, whether it's college football playoff, remote chance of that at this point, or a bowl game. But we're going to talk about this Aggie win or the Texas win over the Aggies. Bob, I want to start with you. Your initial thoughts on the Longhorns rectifying the situation here with the Texas A&M Aggies.
Well, with on the winning drive and the live cast and Coffee and Football, all the podcasts I did last week, I just had a feeling, kind of like that song they sing for the games, It's going to be the best day of my life, whatever. I just felt that for two reasons. Number one, going back and looking at A&M's schedule, looking at their wins, and the fact that I think every podcast last week I brought out the fact that they'd only had a win against one team that had a winning record against Power 4, and that was Notre Dame. The rest of their teams did not have a winning record against Power 4. So that was the first chink in the armor for me. Secondly, of course, you go back and rewatch the South Carolina game, and it's another game that they just did not. If they're the team that everybody evidently thought they were, they would have never had to come back and win that game in dramatic fashion. Not that we haven't had to do that ourselves, but we weren't undefeated and ranked number 3 going into our rivalry game. And then just the aura around the game. A home game for us. The disappointments we've had this season. The only thing that could get that bitter taste out of our mouth is to beat Texas A&M. And the 100-something thousand people there back in the Longhorns knew it. Everybody on that sideline knew it. Everybody in the stadium knew that the only way Texas can get back in line with where we hope we are, where we want to be, is to knock off a number 3 ranked team who has only to beat their rival to finish with their first undefeated season in decades, regular season. And obviously, keep them from going to the conference championship. And who knows, not getting a first round bye, not getting a home game, whatever, a lot of implications. So it just seemed to set up perfect for me, just 2 days before they had given Elko a 6-year contract. I mean, it's just a typical, to me, kind of like Texas A&M thing that, it just seems like we always have, or more times than not, have that upper hand and kind of like, dang, I mean, how much more can they hate us? Well, after this, they're going to hate us at another level, because this was their season, that they've waited on for decades. And I'm with you, Brian. I think A&M has a very good football team, and I think they can still make some noise in the playoffs. But for this matchup, given everything it was at the time, the moment, everything, it just matched up beautifully for Texas. Wasn't easy in the first half, but our guys came through and showed potentially the kind of football team we could have.
Yeah, the Aggies have a propensity to stumble out of the gate or it's somewhere along the way. That's their history at some level. Brian, your thoughts on Texas' win and what were the initial things that you saw and took away?
Yeah, like Bob alluded to, we talked, pre-show, and I really think the Aggies have a great football team. They're loaded at receiver. They're explosive right there. They've had a great tight end. Their quarterback's had a fantastic year. They've got backs galore. So they've got a lot of explosive weapons on the offensive side of the ball, and they're very, very active defensively. I think we played a really great football game from especially in the second half, but from start to finish, the name of the game is get to halftime and let's still be in this thing. And kind of like what I said going into Georgia week, get it to the fourth quarter, give yourself a chance to win. Well, I think two things. Number one, two things, but with 1A being giving them credit for being who they are. They're undefeated. They won the games they won. They played the schedule they played, and they did it in pretty resounding fashion, other than maybe that South Carolina game. But what I like to focus on is, number one, at halftime, how many of us had a really, really good feeling? I felt like A&M had started imposing their will on us towards the end in the second quarter. I had a bad feeling. I felt like physically they're starting to dominate. They're hitting Arch. Arch is hitting the back of his head on the turf. He's having to make miraculous throws just to get the ball thrown away without intentional grounding. I just was very nervous because I thought they had seized a ton of momentum going into halftime. So with momentum being a big part of these rivalry games, I was pretty concerned, and I felt like they had started imposing their will. And then number two, I go back to kind of the aftermath of the Georgia game and things that were done, things that were said about our team. And I think, and I said it then, and I'm going to stand on it today, that those comments and those remarks and how our coach and how our team took them and digested them could play a big factor in the rest of the season and the rest of this program down the line. And I think at halftime, our kids and our coaches said, we've been here before. We didn't respond the last time we were in this situation in prime time. And it's time to toughen up. It's time to be physical. It's time to go fight. Let's get this thing going and let's play tough, hard-nosed, a physical brand of football. And we came out, dominated the second half, stopped them the first four possessions. With one of their fifth or sixth possession, it's 3rd and 21, and they luck out and get a face mask penalty called against us to continue that drive, or I think the ball game's probably over maybe at that point. But they went on down the field, scored. But our offense, again, responded. After they cut it to 3, we go right back down. So it's that physicality and that toughness that I think we took from the Georgia game, and knowing and understand how we need to respond to be a championship club, and we did it. So I'm proud of our guys for, number one, not having the momentum at half, but going out the second half and seizing it, and then also becoming a tough football team the second half.
Brian, I'm going to stay with you for a minute. Let's take the offense and the defense real quick, if y'all don't mind. What did you see on the offense? And I'll follow up with the same question for Coach Shipley.
Offensively for us, I think where we're very pleasantly surprised and very happy and ecstatic is our ability to run the football. That sets Arch up for Arch being Arch. So we were able to run the ball. Trey Wisner averaged over 8 yards a carry against Texas A&M. Arch averaged almost 8 yards a carry against Texas A&M. But being able to run the football and then that setting up Arch to do his thing. And like we've said, for the last few weeks, watching Arch Manning move in the pocket and gap escape within the pocket and make throws on the move or on the run. You combine that with our running game, his ability to throw the football, getting the ball to another one to me is getting Jack Hendricks involved. Jack Hendricks had a huge game, getting that tight end involved over the middle of the field, watching a big tight end catch the ball and then run with it, getting those yards after the catch. I think those were critical for our offense.
Bob, what about you? What did you think of the offense?
Well, I think I remained, optimistic. I felt like that, they did have 2 sacks, but they have 8 hurries. I mean, the first half was really, not a great showing offensively, but we were in the game. We were in the game. Then the way they came back, I was thinking in my mind, golly, if we could have a back rush for 80 yards, we would have a chance to win this game.
I was saying 70. I had 70.
Yeah. And we doubled that, we doubled that. And it's just a great effort by those guys, not giving up, just going back and looking at the game, as a whole. I'm just like Coach Erwin. The halftime scared me to death because they got points at the end of the first half, and then we come out the second half. Man, if they score a touchdown there, they can really do what we did to Arkansas the week before and kind of, get a little breathing room. But four series in a row, we stopped them. And then we started running the ball and somewhat imposing our will on them. And so just kudos. I thought there were times I thought that that Sark was, here we go again, these calls, but man, he really got it figured out and got in a good rhythm, I feel like. And, I think he played a heck of a game. Not a game where the stats really jump out at you, but a game where, once again, you can't describe him as anything but tough and competitive, and a winner. And so having said that, Bobby, what are your thoughts on the defense, PK versus Colin Klein?
I told y'all this pregame. I think PK's defense look, Colin Klein is 0 for 9 as an offensive coordinator against the University of Texas. 0 for 9.
Wow.
People are, because he was at Kansas State before, 0-2 at A&M. I think that his little dink and dunk offense, which is what it is. I mean, now he's got great skill. It's dink and dunk with power run, and they try to hit you over the top. Well, Rod Babers talked about this in the post game. Texas played too high a lot more than they had all year, basically, trying to keep the run in front, trying to keep everything in front of them, and not let Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion really get deep on them. And they were able to do that and manage the A&M run game, which nobody had really managed. But, again, who has A&M played this year? I mean, it's not like maybe Notre Dame, but other than that, who had really challenged A&M in that way on the defensive front? And then likewise, I think that they challenged Marcel Reed to do more than just throw the ball to the flats or checkdowns, and kept him hemmed in the pocket. There was a stat that CJ Vogel came up with. Marcel Reed on Friday, was 3 of 9 on passes attempted beyond 10 yards down the field. 3 of 9. Okay. And then he also had 2 interceptions on top of that. And so I think PK's defense kind of feeds it answers Colin Klein, frankly. That's kind of my feeling. I want to say this too about the offense before and I'm going to ask you next on defense, Coach Shipley, and then finish up with Coach Erwin. But I will say this about the offense too: tendency breakers. They hit some big ones. I was talking to Rod about this. The Nick Townsend touchdown in the red zone, the use of Jack Indries was big, to y'all's point. That's the biggest game of his year so far. And then also the Arch touchdown run. I mean, that was a big-time call on 3rd and 4 now, or 3rd and 5, whatever it was. So he had some tendency breakers on top of the run game working, right? And so I thought, to y'all's point, that all meshed. What, Bob, your thoughts on the Texas defense? Colin Simmons, Ethan Burke, what a hell of a game he had. What do you think of those guys?
Yeah, I think, not having Ant Hill in the game was really a huge concern for me. I thought he would be the one person defensively that we would have to put us over the top to have a chance to slow down this A&M offense. But, what's our guy's name that couldn't play the first half?
Anthony Smith.
Yeah, Smith. Was he not all over the field in the second half? I mean, a blur, wasn't credited with a lot of tackles, but he was very, very, very active. But, I feel like, sometimes we kind of pressed up those receivers and I'm like going, oh, what are we doing? But just a beautiful game plan. And we kept the big plays at a minimum and, forced a lot of 3 and outs, man. And there hadn't been a lot of people doing that at Texas A&M. So I felt like it was a great effort overall, for our defense. I feel like the DBs probably overall, I think, were the best unit defensively for us in terms of their production and the impact on the game. Of course, those 2 interceptions late certainly doesn't hurt their cause in terms of being the defensive group of the week in my mind. But I thought it was a very solid performance by our defense, obviously a performance well enough to put us ahead of the number 3 ranked undefeated team in the nation.
What'd you think, Brian?
Yeah, just overall how our guys were active, and they seemed like they were playing with a lot of confidence. They were playing a lot faster than they'd played the previous couple of weeks, and just playing with a ton of confidence. I guess first credit our down guys, the interior guys, and the down guys for being able to control line of scrimmage and stop the run. We never let their run game really get rolling. They're right on the verge of it. I was, like, man, they ought to be running the ball a little bit more because they had a little bit of success there in the first half. But I thought as the game went on, we got even stronger against the run. So not allowing them to create some consistency in the run game. I give a lot of credit to our down guys, especially our interior guys that don't get a lot of credit that we roll in there. I also thought LaFau played a tremendous game and fit in the run where he didn't fit the run the week before quite so well against Arkansas. Thought he played great. And, Trey Moore, we were just not outmatched, but we only had a couple linebackers to our disposal, there in the first half until we got Ty Anthony back in the second half. So we're kind of holding the rope there for the first half, trying to make sure our linebackers could get it done. They did a nice job. And then, like Bob alluded to with the secondary, I just thought they played a lot of confidence. Kobe Black had a big game. He was playing confidently. Jelani McDonald was playing confidently. Taff was back there communicating, getting them lined up and playing great. And Malik Muhammad had a great game as well. So just overall from the front end to the back end, playing fast and playing with confidence and playing like their hair was on fire was what I saw.
I'm going to give you guys a stat. If you played, you guys coached at some big schools in high school football that were known for some rivalries, right? What if I told you in 2 years you only gave up 2 touchdowns to an opposing offense? That's A&M. What if I told you in 2 years you didn't give up any to Oklahoma? That's pretty good defensive performance in your rivalry game.
Against your rival, they'll take that every single time.
It's big time, right? Look, Texas, big win. I wanted to ask y'all before we, because this is going to be the last regular season episode of Lunch with a Coach. I appreciate you guys doing this for us and for folks out there. I want to ask y'all about what y'all see as the future of Texas football. Arch Manning coming back next year, we believe, and what they could be next year. Before I do that, I want to make sure everybody knows that we are sponsored by Laura Baker. She makes this all possible for us. Laura is the best Austin real estate expert, the only one you ever need if you're moving to, from, or within the Austin area. Reach out to Laura at andyallenteam.com. That's Laura at andyallenteam.com, or call her 512-784-0505. That's 512-784-0505. I know Laura was excited on Friday night when the Longhorns came home with that victory. Again, she's with Keller Williams, the Andy Allen team in the Austin area. All right, Bob, where is this team headed? How do you may or may not get in the playoffs? Most likely not at this point, based on what everybody's saying in the media.
Well,
what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we did what we had to do to kind of put a hole in the leak that sprung against Georgia. And, I said we need to really buckle down because there could be some fallout from this, in terms of keeping our own players and in terms of recruiting. But I think the recruits have probably made their message loud and clear since the A&M game. They want to be a part of this Texas program. And we've had 2-3 commits since that game.
Yep.
And, I think we're kind of back on solid footing in terms of recruiting, I hope. I wish, I'm with you. I don't see them putting us in the playoffs. But I wish we could play a bowl game against a rival. Because, man, does Arch Manning love rival games. Oh, baby. There ain't nobody better than Arch Manning for a rival game. And Sark, too. Sark's great at those rival games. So, I just hope we don't play somebody that we haven't played but 3 or 4 times in the history of the program. I want to play a rival game. I have no idea who that could be. But anyway, I feel as good as I can feel at this point. I mean, how can you not still be excited about this team after beating, A&M and spoiling their potential perfect season, which I don't think was going to be a perfect season, by the way. I just don't know that they have what it takes to win a national championship, although they're certainly close. They're probably closer than we are, So we happen to be the better team, on Friday. But I'm happy about where we're at, considering the season we've had. A few weeks ago, if looking at this situation, I was so down, I would have said, I'll take it. Now I'm like, heck yeah, let's go, man. We're on a roll.
Let's keep playing, huh?
Yeah, let's keep playing.
Brian, what'd you think, bud?
Yeah, about recruiting, I would say I like where we're going. I think that game exemplifies where we're headed. I know it's been a tough year, but 9-3, beating Arkansas, Oklahoma, A&M, and going to places we've gone. When you look back on it, you lose at Ohio State, you lose at Florida, you lose at Georgia. Ain't too shabby. And I know we're looking for more than shabby around here. We expect championships, but Sark and them know what they're doing. This team responds to Sark. When Sark goes through what he's gone through the last, half of the season, it's tough. But I'm proud to say he's our coach. I'm proud to say he was our coach the other night because he coached a well of a football game. And then after the football game, were you proud that he was our football coach after that football game and what he said? Because the way he represented our team and our university on the national stage afterwards, putting up a convincing argument why we should be in the top 12. I'm telling you, he hit the nail on the head, and that's hard to do right after the game. That's hard to do when you're emotionally charged and you just want to go celebrate with your team. But he's sharp. He's a great representative of our university. Our players prove that they still respond to him, and that's what it's about. Let's go get a couple offensive linemen. Let's go get a running back. Let's go get a receiver. Let's reload with some dogs on defense, and let's get it on.
I think everybody's ready to go now, Coach. They're ready for 2026 already. All right, hey. Guys, thank y'all so much again. It's been a pleasure this season. Coach Brian Erwin and Coach Bob Shipley joining us here on Texas Football for this episode of Lunch with the Coach. Guys, y'all have a good week. We'll see you before and after the bowl game at the very least, unless we're playing in that college football playoff. Never know. Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em.